end is near, and so I face. Excuse me. The final curtain, my friend. I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. Hey, Johnny boy, and biggest mush. I like that. Tyler's here, and Wolverine, and Licks, and Burt Pyromaniac, and Steve's in, and Joe. Yeah, another day for a live stream. God, I enjoy live streaming. That's why I'm hoping everything goes so well with these Disney live streams. It'll be such. Licks says, "Look, I did a Wolvie." I finally put my top back on, Jack. Yeah, I figure a space cowboy is cooler than anything else that might be residing under the space cowboy. They don't have the fireworks right now till the end of time. Yes, if you're going to see the fireworks at night, unfortunately, because of COVID, they're not doing some of the things that basically force people to stand together in large groups. So there are intermittent fireworks, like during the stage show and stuff like that, but there is no formal fireworks display right now. Yeah, Philip, that's such a great song. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway. Much more than this. Get Goofy to sing Binks Booze. Oh, that'd be awesome, Colton. Erwin says, do you know about Mickey's lesser-known cousin, Ricky Rat? I think I may have run into him down there once or twice. Hangs out in, he's kind of like the Phantom of the Opera of Disney World. He hangs out in the bowels. You know, rat that hangs out in your bowels. Ooh. Dark Dingo says, I come in on your last video, a funny compilation to watch that I made. Oh, okay. I'll keep checking the comments there. I've already got a couple of compilations made for me, so this will be fun. Flirt with Goofy Lick says. Atomic. How is Disney? Oh, me and my whole family are just fanatics for it. That's why, that's been something that, well, to give you guys a backdrop on it, years ago, I mean, you guys know, those who've been with me a long time, we've been streaming on YouTube ever since streaming on YouTube was available, since it began. And I had always told my wife, us being Disney nuts, I said, what's really missing in the YouTube community is somebody that would go into the parks every day and give updates, because there are literally millions of Disney fans worldwide who are just like us, and that's our favorite place. And when you're not there, it'd be cool to have something you could watch giving you just a day-to-day fix of it. And this was before anybody was doing it. Now, you got all sorts of people in there doing it. It's like, because back at that time, I couldn't just up and go to Florida. Spaz Kid was still in school. I was still at my day job. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate that. But I always remember saying that. And now when we go down there, I'm hoping that when we start streaming, because there's a bunch of people streaming down there now. They're all catching on. That's like, hey, somebody else is doing this. I live in Florida. Many times it's people with really, and I'm not going to mention any names. If you guys want to watch the streams, you'll figure them out. But it's people that have no experience whatsoever in talking to an audience or being in front of the camera. It's just kind of like, yeah, well, I've got this camera and I've got a gimbal. I'll just walk around the parks. So I'm hoping we can go down there and dominate. We'll see. I'm missing something here. Jack and Lex were talking about some random chuckle fuck asked the bunch, so now he's contractually obligated. I didn't see what that was. I think we keep signal through that one. We'll try, Wolfpaw. He says, when you go to Disney, film on the Pirates of the Caribbean. There are some rides, obviously, the rides go, into large buildings and stuff. I think you can keep signal, if I remember right, through Pirates. It might, you'll get some lag here or there, but I think Pirates is one of the ones we can do. I do believe so. Mr. Host says, unrelated, but I just saw a movie called The Kid Detective. It's about an alcoholic who used to be a kid detective getting hired to solve a real murder. Very funny, but it gets super dark. Fantastic film. Really? I like funny and dark. Well, you guys know that. I like funny and dark stuff. Yeah, I never heard of that one, Mr. Host. Alcoholic who used to be a kid detective to solve a real murder. That's kind of cool. I'd never heard of that at all. Luke says, yeah, dominate Donald. Spaz Dev says, was rewatching some of your old Omegle videos and they were so funny. We used to have a lot of fun doing that shit. That was a good time. It's everybody just kind of lost interest in them here. It's too bad. I enjoy doing them. Excuse me, Jack says roast Donald. It's so much nicer. Well, everything's nicer non-COVID, but outside of COVID times, when you can get up close and personal to characters, because there are things you can actually do to roast Donald. I had Spaz Kid do it to him one time to get him to throw a fit. He walks up to him and he goes up to Donald, and Donald, looks down and waves, and he says, "Can you tell me where I could find Mickey Mouse?" And just to try and tweak Donald, and Donald throws a little hissy fit. Oh, gotcha. Okay, Wolverine says some unt. We know what you mean. Was spamming for a reaction request. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, is it just me, you guys, are at this stage with the internet having been established for as long as it has, and I mean just basic internet decorum, is there anyone that really believes if you come into like a situation like this and you just act absolutely obnoxious and just keep spamming the same comment over and over, that there's any fucking chance in hell that you're going to get a positive response to it? How slow-witted do you have to be? I mean, I don't know. No, Wolf Harry Potter is Universal. And I won't have enough time in this trip to do Universal streams, but if this goes well enough to support me continuing to go down, and if that goes well enough to support me getting a place down there, we'll certainly be going to Universal as well. And yes, I've been to, even though I'm not a Harry Potter fan, both parks at Universal have a Harry Potter section. They're connected by the train ride, the Harry Potter train ride. And they're amazing. And that's with no knowledge of the stories to speak of. And it's still really amazing. I like it a lot. Chrome says decorum here. Chrome, you know we are nothing if not decorous here. Have I eaten some duck's meat before? Well, not without him taking me to dinner first. Ty says, from one fat man to another food would be great. I'm glad you brought that up, Ty. What I think I'm going to do with that too, we'll do it on the streams, but I'll be shooting footage for videos for the Theme Park Grandpa, the Disney Channel. The streams will be here, but I'll be shooting footage for the new Disney Channel YouTube channel I'm opening, and I think that's going to be a significant part of it is just taking the individual snack items and stuff like that and just making video shorts about them. As I had mentioned earlier, most people, when they do that down there, they do it within the framework of a much longer video about about food. And the only problem with that is if you're going down and you want to look up a YouTube video about a specific food item or a specific food place, it's hard to find it because it's not in the title of the video, because the video they created was just about food in general, if that makes any sense to everyone. Gimster says, I just saw the stream title. How about a streaking stream and run through the whole park? Nothing can go wrong. I'm sure they. Hey, Gimster, your stream boss. I'm sure they'd be more than fine with that. What I am going to do, what do you guys think of this? I thought it'd be a lot of fun is each day in the park, one of the first things I do is we'll go into, obviously all the parks have some pretty cool stores. We'll go into one of the stores. I'll have you guys in the stream help me pick out something small. You got to remember, most people down at Disney World have traveled there, so you don't want to give them something big to travel back with. We'll pick something small out. I'll buy it, and we'll set a keyword. If any person comes up to me and says the catchphrase, the keyword that we set, I'll give them whatever the little prize is. The odds against it happening would be tremendous, especially since we're just going to have started streaming from there. But it would be cool to see if the audience outreach would be enough that even if somebody down in the parks wasn't watching the stream, that somebody was watching and knows people who are at the parks and could be texting with them. And it'd just be a fun thing. And what I figure I'll do is if by the end of the stream, nobody's claimed it, we'll just find a kid in the park and, obviously ask parents if it's okay to give it to him or her. I thought that might be fun and a different thing to do, different adventure for each day. Envy says, just don't get injured. That you won't be streaming anymore if the Disney World Secret Service will take you through the backdrops and never be seen again. Well, I think I told you guys before that I have a friend of mine, a comedian. He's still doing comedy. Brilliant guy. I mean, hilarious comic. And he got kicked out of Disney World. This was years and years ago. But he told the whole story about it on stage, and he actually kept the article from the local paper to prove that it wasn't just something, that a comic dreamed up in his mind. He got his ass tossed out of Disney World. Strange Cyborg says, what's up, Curtis? I just recently started rewatching your Try Not to Laugh videos, and then you started doing them again. Oh, this is fun, Strange Cyborg. I hopefully you guys do too. I liked doing the Try Not to Laugh videos before, but the reason I got kind of tired of them was it isn't, you guys know me, it's not a contest for me. I laugh so easy. And what made it worse is once I get laughing, I can't stop. So I would be watching those Try Not to Laugh videos and really laughing at stuff that was just mildly funny because it's like a boulder going down a hill. I can't halt it once it's released. So doing it this way is way more fun because I actually have a chance to try and not laugh at each one. And I think it's more fun for us interactively too, because with having the space in between the videos where I'm trying not to laugh, it just gives me more time to relate to you guys and everything, with what's going on, instead of just having to be quiet again because there's another clip following right away. I like this format. This format I think will do real well. We'll have fun with that. Kaiser says, discover if that arc that forms over the castle to find out if it's magic or they've been lying to us. Lord Coldcut says, I always wanted to fist fight a giant mouse, but I feel like he has some tricks up his comically large white gloves. I'd be afraid of too, Lord Coldcuts, is what if I lose that fight? That's not something I want on my resume. This is a no-win situation. You're supposed to win a fight against Mickey Mouse. It's just like when I told you guys that story. Most of you have heard the story about me and being a dick to David Hasselhoff, right? And he looked like he wanted to fight me. And I kept thinking at the time, because I was, at that time, I was wrestling a full schedule and everything. And I'm like, man, if this guy actually wants to fight me and I lose a fight to David Hasselhoff, I'll never be, I can't go back into a wrestling locker room. That'll be it. It'll be over. Oh, that Rich People Club? Yeah, Lix. Oh, shit, I can't think of the name of it. Well, Lix is talking about each of the parks. It's club something. It's a number, and I can't remember the number. But what Lix is talking about, it's really kind of cool. I think it costs you like $30,000 a year, and you can belong to this exclusive club that gives you access right within each Disney park. There is one of these like club hangouts where you can go in and relax for a little while and live the high life. And it was insane how much it costs. I want to say it was like $30,000 a year. It was something like that. It was nuts. Yeah. Patrick says, my new idea for Disney World is a world where they don't fire Gina Carano. Well, we all know, Patrick, if there's anybody as more overly PC sensitive than Google/YouTube, it would be Disney. Is it 301? Wolfpaw? I didn't think those were the numbers. Yeah, it's Club something with numbers. It could be 301. Club 33. That sounds more like it, Brian. What Brian said. I think that's it. Club 33, isn't it? I may be wrong, Chrome. I think it was around $30,000. You guys got me curious now. I'll look it up. I looked it up at one time, not to join, just out of morbid curiosity. Trust me, I wasn't looking to join. Club 33 Disney cost. Let's see what it says. Yes. As of March 2018, that's what it was. It was $33,000 to join and a $15,000 annual fee for Club 33. Not bad, huh? 33,000 to join and 15 grand a year to maintain your membership. Jesus Christ. I kind of met David Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff Ice Wave. He wanted to punch me in the face because I was being a dick. So if you call that meeting, Gimster says currently there's not nearly as much snow as we had last year. Gimster's up in Canada for those of you who don't know, but it's still minus 13 with wind chill minus 13 with wind chill minus 25. Good time to get a tan outside. Jesus Christ. Yikes. It's amazing how has remained so brutal for you guys up here. Our winters are not nearly as bad as they used to be. I mean, they still suck, but wow. Man. Those raccoons are back in my yard. Oh shit, Lord Cold Cuts. Yep, Chrome, 33 grand to join and 15 grand a year to maintain. You could get a house for that price. Oh, easily. Yeah. Yeah. Not terrible. Yeah, that was I'm sure I did. I told you guys the David Hasselhoff story before, right? At the Big E Fair. Again, I give the guy credit. He looked like he was ready to go, and it's not like he had bodyguards around him or something, unless I just wasn't seeing someone, but I don't think so. I think he's tall. He's a big dude. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too confident, but especially at that point in my life, I just couldn't picture myself losing a fight to David Hasselhoff. Johnny says Gina Carano is a shitty human being, but she shouldn't have been fired. Beaten to death, to near death, maybe. Yeah, I'm not big on this whole firing people for their opinions on something, regardless of how obnoxious their opinions might be. I mean, as long as they're not calling for the harm of anyone or anything else. Collector says, I'm from Minnesota and that's my weather. Oh, yikes. Since they have New Mexico, they should rename Minnesota New Canada. Yeah, you guys, oh, geez, Collector, you guys with that freaking wind off those lakes. Yeesh. Wolfpaw says, I live near Houston. We are showing 3 days in a row for snow. It's raining hard. Wow, that's unusual for you guys. Holy crap. I was just talking to a lady. I was doing business with one of the companies I do business with, and she was out of Lubbock, Texas, and she was telling me how they had gotten a ridiculous amount of snow this year. Wow. I didn't realize that was going on down there. Steve says, have there ever been a celebrity you met that was really rude? Like, again, in both the case with David Hasselhoff and Bobby Knight, I was the one being rude. I was the one being a dick because I think I'm funny. I've met only a couple, if you consider wrestlers celebrities. Yeah, I've met a couple wrestlers that were douchebags. Outside of that, and a couple of baseball players at autograph signings and stuff. I met a couple of baseball players that were real dickheads. But as far as like entertainment celebrities, I don't think so. Excuse me. Gone says we're still dealing with the old Canada. We don't need another one. A celebrity stole my chips, Collector says. You guys are good. But yeah, the whole thing with Hasselhoff, again, there's no excuse for it. I was being a douchebag, but it was funny. It was worth it. Luke says, we've had 5 days in a row now, and I live in rain country, so we're scared. Jonathan says, was there ever a YouTuber who said you have to stop reacting to his videos? No. Nope. As a matter of fact, Jonathan, well, my policy here has always been that, if anybody has issue with us reacting, we would just stop. No questions asked. I'm not going to fight with somebody over whether something's fair use or not. I'd respect that. But I'm kind of careful about it. With each one we've done, I've either gotten permission, or if I can't get permission, I will only react to videos or to creators where I see there are already a lot of reactions out there, because by now, with reacting being such a big thing, typically if there's a lot of reactions out there, it's because the original creator is either A, just third party claims them for the monetization, or B, just doesn't care if you react to them. No, I fortunately had a whole bunch of the original creators support us, but I've never to this point had anybody ask us to stop. Johnny says, I met Hulk Hogan and he was a complete cockblower. Fuck him and his lack of wrestling talent. Really? That doesn't surprise me a lot with Hulk. And yes, I've always said it. You guys know how I feel about Hulk Hogan from a talent perspective. My take is he doesn't have any in the ring. I've heard Billy Joel is kind of a dick too. Hey, good to see you, Brian. B. Travis here. I've heard that too. I don't know that firsthand. I've never met Billy Joel, but I've probably heard the same type of things you have. I've heard that same thing. Chrome says, I'm lucky. The snow is heavy as hell here right now. But since we're a hilly region, when the snow starts to melt, it'll just go away instead of flooding us. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I shouldn't say a cold snap. We've hit a typical cold snap for February up here. So we haven't been above freezing for about a week and a half, but it hasn't been super cold. You know, we haven't had it since December. We had that one freak snap of cold weather. Since that, we haven't had air temperatures below zero, and that's unusual. Kaiser says, have you watched the What If Dragon Ball Z? No. One of them is a what if Nappa lived and joined the cast instead of Vegeta. Oh, that's kind of cool. No, I've never seen that. Huh. Nope. I don't believe I'd heard of that one. Brian says, the coolest wrestler I met was probably Christian. Dude really cares about his fans. I've never met him, Brian, but a bunch of friends of mine in the business have worked shows with him, and they all had great things to say about him. Said he just a great guy. Spaz Dev says, Chevy Chase is probably known as the rudest actor ever. Just the stuff he did on Community alone, I can understand that reception. I've heard that too. Again, no firsthand knowledge, but yeah, I've heard that same thing too, Spaz Dev. He always struck me that way though. And again, for no other reason than just when you see him in interviews and stuff, he just seems like a dick. Steve says it hit minus 20 degrees Celsius in Scotland this week. Jesus Christ. And it's funny how where I live, the winters are not nearly as bad as they used to be. I mean, they're still plenty bad enough, but they're not nearly as dire as they used to be. Jack says, I built a snowman yesterday. For some reason, I then peed on it. Johnny says, Edge is probably the nicest wrestler I've ever met, and he's a great worker and has genuine love for it, unlike Hulk. Oh, Edge is a phenomenal worker. Fantastic worker. Jonathan says, did you hear the Mecha Godzilla theory in the new Godzilla vs. Kong? I'm a Godzilla fan, so go away, big monkey. Yeah, I did hear the whole thing. They're talking about it might potentially be Mecha Godzilla that he fights, yeah. Philip says, my father read Billy Joel's biography. I think the reason he's seen as a dick is he's a private person. That could be, compared to a lot of other musicians. Could be, because everything I've heard about him, obviously, is stuff that I've read, or it's all second, third, seventh hand stuff. So that's why I don't dwell on it too much, because I don't have any first-hand knowledge. Burnt Pyromaniac says, would you take a tombstone pile driver from The Undertaker for $12,251,991? I would take a tombstone pile driver from The Undertaker for 100% free. If there's anybody in the business you could count on he's going to protect you doing a move like that, it'd be The Undertaker. I would have zero fear. Lick says, I didn't get the chance to build a giant snowcock this year. I'm pretty sure that makes me a race trader. Jesus. Wolfpaw says, how do you feel about John Cena? I don't have any hate for John Cena. I know a lot of people don't like him. Cena worked his ass off in the indies. You know, came up working the bars and everything like most of the rest of us did. And I got no problems with him at all. I think he's a good dude. Is he the most talented worker I've ever seen? No, but to his credit, he never claimed to be. Is he the worst worker I've ever seen? No, not even close. He can work a match. I mean, he's not in the company of Ric Flair or even Edge or some of the guys that can just, Shawn Michaels, even though I didn't care for him, that can just work at rates that are insane. But I like John Cena. It's funny you say that, Lord Cold Cuts. Back on the Disney thing, do they still have that mechanical dragon? I heard there was a fire issue way back, but other than that, I don't know. Yeah, what Cold Cuts is talking about, there's a dragon that spits fire that would come out during one of the parades. Now, of course, the parades are not happening right now. They just have cavalcades instead, and I'll show that to you guys when we get down there. But yes, you are correct. There was a fire incident. He set something on fire. It wasn't major, but he was back before everything got shut down. He was back again. They had fixed the issue, and yeah, he's back on the rotation. Yeah, that's true, Wolverine. Wolverine says Cena granted the most Make-A-Wish. Yeah, wishes. He's number one all time of anyone, and it's by a lot of the Make-A-Wish granting. So, hey, that's a lot of somebody's time and something very difficult to do. I mean, it's heart-wrenching. So you got to give the guy a lot of credit for that. Excuse me. Chrome says, by the way, have you seen the WHO's current investigation of COVID at Wuhan? Oh, the WHO's current investigation. They basically said accidents happened to the theory it was from the research lab and aren't going to look into it. They basically said accidents happen. There's that doesn't surprise me at all, Chrome. I mean, this whole thing, no matter how many different ways you slice it, no matter how many people cry about it being said because they think that people are going to be mean to Asian people, the fact is the Chinese government's responsible for this shit, period. Whether it was an accident in a lab, whether it was because they allow those disgusting fucking wet markets to take place, however it began, it's their fault. And the entire world paid for it. And now it's like considered taboo to call them out for it. It's just like, oh, just leave them alone. They won't do it again, just like they wouldn't do it again the last 2 times virus came out of those goddamn wet markets. Hey, how about that? Juan Cena do? You guys like Juan Cena? Here's Juan Cena play his theme song. Oh, Juan Cena? All right, Lex, you lost me for a second there. Sploosh says, Mr. Perfect, in my opinion, is the best worker. He's one of those guys that everyone loved to work with because he made others' jobs easier because he was so good. That's true. He's right up there with the elite level guys in work rate. There's no question. Icewave says, my 95-year-old grandma is getting the vaccine in a few days. I'm nervous because of side effects. I mean, from what I've read on, and I'm a nerd for this whole thing with coronavirus, so I read a lot. What I've read, I wouldn't be too concerned, Icewave. I mean, for the vast majority of people, the side effects are going to be, a sore arm, some potential like flu-like symptoms for a day or two. Now, some people have had more, but that's true with any type of vaccine you get. And the second one is typically worse than the first. However, it's also quite possible that you can get the vaccine, both shots, and not have any real side effects at all. Just everybody's an individual. I wouldn't be too worried. I put it this way: if you're a statistics person, the statistics say it's extremely likely she'll be fine. Kaiser says, even though it's MMA, have you ever met Ronda Rousey? I have not. She seems cool, a game and anime geek like us. She likes DBZ and Pokemon. She even has stated on camera that she has a crush on Vegeta. Oh, I didn't know that. Kaiser. Nope, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. That's very cool, actually. No, I didn't know that at all. Poppy says, Icewave is usually a headache and a mopey feeling I've had. And like Poppy says, I know a lot of people, I know them personally, that had those exact same symptoms that Poppy's describing. Chrome says, since we're talking about Florida parks, have you ever had that Monster Krusty Burger in the Simpsons part of Universal? Those burgers are monster by Florida. Yes. And, Chrome, you know what Spaz Kid loves? In the Simpsons section there, they have the giant pink frosted donut. That is like his jam. The donut there is the size of an actual cake, a large cake. And yeah, that's Spaz Kid's jam, that big pink donut. But yes, we have the Krusty Burger, and we had the, I got it here somewhere. We had the Flaming Moe's drink at Moe's Tavern too. I don't know where it ended up because I kept the glass from Flaming Moe's. I'd have to look for it for you guys. But yes, yeah, that whole I enjoy Universal. My wife hates it because she says it's Disney's competition, and she's just so pro Disney that anybody else is evil. Social Mute says, personally, The Undertaker for me has to be the greatest of all time. He always put the character ahead of his own personal health and never get chills seeing him enter the ring compared to others. I've always said I think The Undertaker, Mark Calloway's gimmick, The Undertaker gimmick, is the greatest gimmick of all time, and he's clearly one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. My favorite, of course, is Bruno Sammartino because I'm such an old fart. Goes back to the days when I was a kid. But, as I've always said, of the newer generation, Calloway, The Undertaker is my favorite. Chrome says the COVID vaccine will probably be like most vaccines. The majority of people would have a negative reaction to it or are immunocompromised, and they already know not to get vaccines. Yeah, I mean, from what I've been reading, there have been some isolated incidents, and what I've read too that's encouraging is with the whole thing with people with allergies. In each and every case where there's been an allergic reaction, that's why they keep people there for 15 minutes to half an hour after you have the vaccine. Each and every one that's had a reaction, they were able to take care of it with the typical medications that you would take care of an allergic reaction with. So far, so good on that front anyway. Yeah, there is a Flaming Moe's down there, Kaiser. That's not Disney, that's Universal. But you can go into Moe's Tavern and get a Flaming Moe's. The drink wasn't bad either. It was pretty good. I mean, it's not alcoholic, but it was very good. Chrome says, well, they literally said accidents happen to the theory. It was in their top 4 highest possibilities of how it got out, and they refused to investigate it. Disgusting. Yeah, it doesn't, like I say, nothing with the World Health Organization surprised me, Chrome. They're as corrupt as they come. Absolutely. And there are so many high-ranking agencies around the world that are holding water for China or protecting them in this whole thing. Fact still remains, no matter what happened, it's the Chinese government's fault that all these people are dead, period. That's it. I've heard Minnie Mouse has syphilis, Steve says. Well, I've heard that going around. Yeah, get it? Syphilis and going around. Okay. They said, that's true. That's true now, Lex, with Disney actually owning Fox or owning The Simpsons. Yeah. Nope, never met Randy Savage, Kaiser. Unfortunately, that would have been cool to get to meet him. Who here has the vaccine? Ice Wave says. Yeah, Poppy said she had. I don't know if anybody else has mentioned they've had it yet or not. We're on the list. Whenever it gets up here for us, they'll probably call us and say, "Oh, we finally got an appointment on that week that I'm gone to Disney." And then too, we'll have to during the week next week. I see most of the mods are here with us today. If it's okay, mods, how am I gonna? Well, actually, no, that's right. The live streams. Oh, never mind. The live streams will be on this channel. I can't even stream remotely from the Theme Park Grandpa channel yet. Anyway, so I'm getting ahead of myself. That's right. I was going to say, I got to make sure I got you guys set as moderators over at the Theme Park Grandpa channel, but actually not yet. We don't have to worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
Wolverine says, if you find Cuban rum in Florida, please send me some. You would think, excuse me, guys, if you're going to find Cuban anything, you would think Florida would be the spot for it. Jack says his mom has gotten it, and a colleague of his, they were fine. Yeah, and I know personally several people who've had it. No issues with any of the people I know so far. And a good close friend of ours, the couple that always comes over to watch football with us and stuff, she works in senior care, so she had the first shot and had no issue, and she gets her second one tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And she is a tiny, tiny little thing, and she had no issues with it. Tyler says, I'm not going out of my way to get it. If I get the chance, I'll get it. Yeah, see, I want it. I've been signed up for it, but we all see that the rollout isn't living up, who regardless of who's president, because of course, well, any politicians, oh, who would have thought politicians will say anything to get elected? Biden's guarantees of kicking this vaccination progress into high gear once he gets into office were bullshit too. It it's just like people just want to always believe, which I guess I understand,
Oh,
that something new is going to be
yeah.
better and that the system wasn't already working at whatever peak effectiveness it may be. Philip says, if Minnie has syphilis, it must be from that time Walt gave her the casting couch. Like that one gag from Family Guy. She just wanted to be a star. Gee, Mr. Disney. Come here, you polka dotted bitch. No. I know, I keep forgetting to do that, as a matter of fact, Spaz Dev. He says you should add Theme Park Grandpa to the channel list on your channel. Yeah, he would think I would have done that by now. Duh. Wolfpaw says, I'm not getting the vaccine because I'm terrified of needles. I had a friend, my best friend, unfortunately passed away a few years ago. He was terrified of needles. And this isn't a guy who was afraid of much of anything, but that was in his head. Oh, excuse me, guys. Itsunami says, it is very kind of the WHO to take some actions investigations a year later. Yeah, they're fucking useless, the WHO. Absolute garbage. Lex says, oh, what's that? A president made some bullshit up to get people to vote for them? Wow, that's such a surprise, isn't it, Lex? Isn't that shocking? Just like the whole first day in office, those checks will be out the door. The stimulus checks. And again, it's not throwing stones just at Biden, but it's kind of throwing stones at anybody. And this is either side of the aisle. Anybody who believes politicians when they're campaigning. If you believe the things they say they're going to do for you, you're just being naive. And I know the response to that from a lot of people is, well, it's not Biden's fault. Doesn't matter. Biden promised it. Don't tell me it's not his fault. He knows how the system works. So if it was something he couldn't promise, he shouldn't have promised it. But that's what politicians do. Ice says, my young, healthy 40-year-old neighbor couple got the vaccine 2 months ago, and they're not in health care. Yet my grandma, who is 95 in a care facility, is just now getting it. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know how they're not frontline workers or not essential workers, Ice Wave. Yeah, that's odd. Agreed. Gone. UN and WHO are trash. I agree. Chrome says a lot of the top officials in the WHO are part of the Chinese government and military, and Tedros, the leader of WHO, was a Mao communist in college. Great. That's not even a little surprising. Yes, I was. William Toad says, did you know that originally Mickey Mouse's name was Mortimer Mouse, but Walt's wife said Mickey sounded more friendly? I did know that too. And that Mickey Mouse wasn't the original flagship character of the Disney organization. It was Oswald the Rabbit, who is my grandson's favorite. And he gets really pissed that Mickey gets all the credit. Yeah, Chrome, like Chrome says, $2,000. Well, $1,400. Maybe only for the hardest hit of our friends. Later, maybe. Yeah, that's what it's been. And people aren't wrong. It's not necessarily Biden that's holding it up. It's Congress. But Biden's the one who promised it. Don't fucking promise shit you can't deliver on. Kaiser says, I remember watching an old school wrestling documentary with my dad years back. He was telling about how it used to be. Looking at it, it seemed simpler and less showy. It was way more basic, Kaiser. Yeah, it was. Oh, but talking about that, you guys seen how gas prices are doing now? Oh, this is good. Gas prices are going to get ugly now, especially with the pipeline construction halted. They're going to keep going up for a while. Lord Coldcut says, have you ever been stabbed? I have, yes. Getting a needle in your arm is kind of like that, but easier. And bonus points if it's a hot nurse instead of a masked thug. Oh, Henry, I don't know. He says, hey, Curtis, when do you think the mask wearing will finally end? Once the virus is down to near zero spread, which the first thing we got to do is get some sort of herd immunity. And this is all, all of it's conjecture. And this isn't me knowing more than anyone else. The epidemiologists and scientists will tell you this. It's not something they talk a lot about because they don't want people to get lackadaisical. We don't know what the eventuality of COVID-19 is going to be. There's been a bunch of coronaviruses. Some have just died out. Once they've wreaked their havoc and you get the spread down to zero, they haven't been seen of again. That's what we can hope for with this. It's quite possible that it's something that could come around back on us on a regular basis too. We don't know yet. But getting back to no masks and stuff would probably be once we can get to herd immunity and again have that spread down to near zero levels. Burnt says, would you rather take a DDT from Jake the Snake or take a punch to the face from Mike Tyson? Well, you got to remember, Burnt, when Jake gives you a DDT, he's trying to keep you safe. When Tyson gives you a punch to the face, he's trying to knock your head off. He's trying to rearrange your features and make sure that every time you look in the mirror, you remember him. So that's an easy one. Philip says, I already told you about Trudeau stealing from the fund of vaccinated developing countries. Yes. Now he's begging India for vaccines because he gave away Canada's stockpile of vaccines. You guys are up against it up there, Philip. I never liked Trudeau, but man, with the stuff with the details that you bring about him too, I'm just so disgusted.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, with politics in general. Politics in general, and basically heavily political people as well. That's just because everybody is so entrenched in their camps now, there's never going to be any progress anytime soon. Gimster says, I've been stuck in a rabbit hole called the VTubers. Turns out Nux has Rona and has become a VTuber. Oh, Nux? I didn't know that. I know what VTubers are. Look for comments that explain them. Yeah, I know about the virtual tubers, but I didn't know Nux has become one. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. I may be wrong. I think that's going to be a passing fad, don't you guys? VTubing? Maybe not. It might hold. Chrome says, I've actually finished the full one of those big burgers before. Have you? Those ones down in Universal. On 2 occasions. I walk everywhere on holidays, so I burn calories easy. I've walked that stupid path to Universal before. That's cool. See, it's easier for me to finish something like that because I eat everything plain. Not that it's still not a monster burger. But when you don't have condiments or, there's no lettuce, tomatoes, anything like that on my burger, it's easier to gorge more. Chrome says, the economy will go up in flames. Unfortunately, I think that's what's going to happen, Chrome. I shouldn't laugh. When the U.S. economy suffers, so does the U.K. and the world. Biden's economy, I'm waiting for him to talk about GameStop. Yeah. Oh, man. And now we're gonna put 1.9 trillion more onto the debt. Oh, and again, it's not so much for me at my age and everything. The long-term effects on this are going to be mostly after I'm out of the loop, but I just worry about it for my kids and grandkids. What are your thoughts on Trump's impeachment? I've only seen a little bit of Trump's lawyer sucks ass at his job. I think it's pointless. I think it's basically political theater. Just go ahead and impeach him. But the fact is, for Democrats, the best thing that could happen for them would be if Trump ran again, because there's no way he would ever get the Republican nod. But if he ran again, he would completely split the vote in the Republican Party and probably hand them the presidency back. So I'm not sure why they want it. Well, yeah, I know why they want him out. Again, it's political theater. It's something they have to do for their base. Mr. Croissant says, have you ever run into a Karen? Sure. I asked because apparently Florida's Karen. Yeah, between Karen and Florida, man, it's kind of dangerous down there, but I'm willing to risk it. Gimster says he promised, this is Nux, his crew to become a VTuber if one of his vids hit 50,000 likes or some stupid number. His crew came through. Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't seen that. I was just interacting a little bit with Nux on social media the other day, but I hadn't seen that. No, I haven't. Lick says, did you see that news segment of the old billionaire man crying over the Robin Hood stuff? No, I haven't. I'll have to look that up because that would delight me. Chrome says VTubers will stick around to some degree or another. Oh, yeah, to some degree, I'm sure they will. I feel like it's the anime version of streaming, honestly. It's a boon for streamers. They get to keep a personal life. Yeah, no, I think there will be. I'm just saying, I think as far as being part of a major part of the community and stuff, I think it'll start to wane. I could be wrong, though. Weematode says, hopefully we won't have to wear a mask starting next year, but scientists say that herd immunity will be extremely hard, as 15% of Americans say they won't be getting the vaccine. Yeah, they're just conjecturing at this point, though, Weematode. You know, that's not necessarily the case. You're always going to have, even when in the scientific community, you're going to have those who trade on gloom and doom. You're going to have those who, particularly depending on political affiliations, are going to make things sound as rosy as possible, and a few that are just going to be hardcore realists. But the truth of the matter is, nobody knows for sure. And if they say whichever side of the aisle they're on, and whichever opinion they have, if they say they know it to be a fact, they're just lying to you. True. Shelby says, at least Florida man occasionally uses his powers for good, unlike Karen. That's very true. Which is worse, Trump's behavior or Biden's policy making? Oh, toss a coin, Ice Wave. Yeah, it's to say the least, I'm not impressed so far with the Biden policy making or his plans for immediate future policy as well. It's going to be a really, really rough economy for a while. Really rough. Big Green says, people have been saying the VTuber fad will pass away back sometime in 2016, so I don't think it's going away already. Yeah, but it's really peaked recently, though, Big Green. That's all I mean. And again, didn't think I did. I don't mean to talk in absolutes. I don't mean to say VTubers are someday going to be obliterated. I'm just saying that a lot of things. So, doing the Omegle videos is a good example. They didn't go completely away. There's still people making Omegle videos. But what I'm saying is they hit a peak, and now it's just like happened here. A lot of people just kind of lost interest in it, and that's what I would think is going to happen with VTubing. And again, I could be wrong. Cold Cut says, oh goody, there's more snow coming my way according to the forecast. As if my neighbors needed another excuse to accidentally come at me with their car. Jesus. I find it funny, Mr. Yolo Dick Swagger says, I find it funny when people bitch about politicians but don't actually do anything about it. Well, you do anything about it in what regard, Mr. Yolo? I mean, you vote for who you think is going to be the least distasteful, and that's pretty much your options. Are you saying if somebody thinks that politicians in general don't have our best interests at heart, they should stop everything they're doing in life and become a politician? So that's just not reasonable and is kind of ridiculous, actually. So I'm not sure, what do you mean by actually do anything about it? Watching in detention, Aiden says? Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Wait, we weren't streaming earlier, so you didn't get detention because you were watching us instead. And if you had gotten detention for watching us instead, I need to get in contact with your school because I'll set them right on priorities. Jack says, "What does that mean? Don't have an opinion unless you assassinate them?" Yeah, I'm not sure where that goes, Jack. Wimito says, Trump's lawyer was saying something about the Roman Empire. As far as I know, his argument was, you're all senators, so you shouldn't impeach him. Yeah, I haven't been impressed, in the past at least, I haven't been impressed with his legal representation either. Hold on, Chrome's got the billionaire crying. I'm gonna open that in another window here.
People are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people, and I think it's inappropriate. We all got to work together and pull together.
Yeah, we all got to work together and pull together. Wow, seeing a wildly rich dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Aiden, your stream boss. a wildly rich dude be out of touch is not a surprise at all. Oh, you flooded the bathroom with your friends? Yikes. On purpose or an accident? Hopefully an accident. Well, and either doesn't really matter at this point because you got the detention anyway. Chrome says you need at least somewhat of an ego to be a politician. Agreed with that. To think you can lead thousands, so it makes sense why we have so many awful politicians. I guess. But I think to achieve any significant level nationally in politics, oh, I think you'd agree anyway, Chrome. Yeah, you have to be corrupted to some degree. I don't think you can succeed otherwise. It's unfortunate. Jack says, see, I didn't watch any of it. He says, LOL, the lawyers were hilarious. Even the Fox News crew were like, yeah, that was shit. That's not surprising to me. I just, again, I think the whole thing is just, as I said, it's political theater. They're they're going to do something to make their base feel better. And if they want to do it, go ahead. I just don't think it serves them well. I think the best thing that could have happened for Democrats is Trump running again. But I don't think they're playing the long game. I think they're playing the short game here. Let's see. I missed. Oh, it's Wolfpaw and Jack we're talking about. Yeah. Well, you do have to worry about the economy upcoming. It's going to be really, really treacherous sledding with the economy over the next few years. Michelle Dick Swagger says people can get off their ass, run for office, and you don't need to kill an elected official. I know all you right-wingers love threatening that, though. Boy, did you just fucking jump right off the deep end. So that's answering my question. So if you feel that politicians aren't doing a particularly good job, and you feel that they don't have best interests at heart, you should stop everything you're doing in your life, in your career, and become a politician, rather than trying to search out and find some people who might do the right things. Get the fuck out of here. And then you come in with I know all you right-wingers love threatening that, though. Nobody threatened anything. The question was, when you say you got to do, and you're not doing something about it, that was the question. What are you supposed to do? So what you're saying is what you're supposed to do is if you don't feel politicians are living up to their expectations or doing what they should do, we should stop everything in our lives and become a politician ourselves. Otherwise, we have no right to gripe about it. Is that pretty much the stupidity you're peddling? Cover it. Chrome says it's pathetic. Oh, I know enough rich people who would be utterly embarrassed to act like that on TV, though they're at least somewhat down to earth. Yeah, that was completely detached from reality, Chrome. That guy, I don't know who the dude is, but that's just somebody who's lived a life, again, so detached away from the reality that the middle class and the vast majority of us face. He has no idea what he's talking about. Oh, the prices are rising here in gas too, Ice Wave. It was before the election. We were at I'm trying to remember. It was right around 227, 228 locally, and now we're to 259. Gimster says there was a VTuber that got a 1-week temp ban right after her debut because of her huge knockers, tendencies of swearing and claiming to want world domination by giving birth to an army to do so. Jesus Christ. She sounds like a party. Mr. YOLO Dick Swagger still ranting about something. Let's ignore all the Trump voters shouting, hang Mike Pence, fuck off. What the fuck are you talking about? Who's ignoring them? There were people that stormed the Capitol shouting hang Mike Pence because they were so enamored with Trump that they thought he had done them wrong. So you fuck off. I don't have any idea what you're going on about. But this is typical. Actually, Mr. YOLO Dick Swagger is perfectly indicative of what we're talking about. If you bring up a topic and that topic gets met with realities that are different than their particular perspective, or in some cases fantasy, then it becomes, well, you fuck off, all you people who are in the right wing, or all you conservatives or fascists or this, that, or whatever buzzword of the day just gets thrown around, and because when you don't have a leg to stand on, you just start spewing shit. Aiden says, we told the principal that we wanted a swimming pool in the school so we could have a swim team. We were smart asses. Jesus Christ, Aiden. As someone who's had plenty of detention in his high school life, that one was well earned. That swim team. What the hell, dude? That's pretty good. Doing good, Colton. Doing good. Yes, I do have Disney Plus, Steve. Haven't watched as much as I should. There's a lot of stuff on that. We watched a movie the other night. My wife wanted to see. I don't know why she wanted to see it. It was called Clouds. She cried the entire time from start to finish watching that movie. So I don't know why she was into it, but. Oh, Lick says this was something different. Oh, that's not even the clip I was talking about. It meant one of them literally started crying during a TV news interview. It's amazing, isn't it, when you think of how little effect that could have put, the whole thing with the screwing around with GameStop and Dogecoin and all that stuff, how little effect that could have actually had on someone with that type of wealth to be that over the top concerned about it. Give me a break. Lord Coldcut says, people who get heated over politics are funny. You're getting heated over people who don't know or care about you, only your wallet. Yeah, true, Lord Coldcuts. Yeah, that, and now, of course, Mr. YOLO Dick Swagger is just looking for some attention. I'm for conservatives in concentration camps. There, you got your attention, honey. I read it for you. But that is, I'm glad he's here. That's perfectly indicative of just what we were talking about. The asinine stupidity that rages in political conversation on the internet. Again, when somebody has a stance or some platitude that they want to put forth, if anyone else questions it, then it just becomes, well, all bets are off. What I said was stupid and there is no defending it, so I'll just say a bunch of outrageous shit to prove that I'm an edgelord, that type of stuff. And that's where we're at. That's the mentality we deal with largely. And that's why things are where they are. Well, thanks, Mr. Swift Whistle. I appreciate that. Wolverine says I have like 2 more shows I need to finish on Netflix before I get Disney Plus: Daredevil season 3 and Death Note. Oh, the anime Death Note, right? Wolverine, you're not gonna. Oh, that I started watching that live action one. That was just, that was just fucking terrible. Chrome says I'm pretty sure if you hung Pence, he'd just be reincarnated as pure lightning. Next big isekai series. I was the former vice president, and now I'm Thor hunting the gays. Yeah. Pence is, and the thing is, Pence is just another example of, in my belief anyway, of out of touch politicians. Just anybody who has at any time in their life supported re-education camps for gay people is just, yeah. No matter what other stances he has, it immediately outs you as a lunatic. Exactly. Well, Philip makes a good point. He says, and people wonder why we don't want to give up our guns because idiots like Mr. YOLO Dick Swagger keep threatening to put us in the gulag. Yeah. Yeah, there's no turning back on the gun thing now with, well, what we've all seen with the staggering number of guns and ammunition that have been sold over the last couple of years. Lots of luck. You can try and implement anything you want. But I will say this, as teetering as the country is right now on the edge of violence, the one sure way to make that violence a reality would be to come hard after guns. Because with what people have seen with the, over the last couple of years with the attack on the Capitol, and beyond that with cities being ravaged night after night with fires and violence, and the politicians in those cities doing nothing to ebb that flow, you'll never get the guns now. Wolverine says Willem Dafoe was the only plus of Death Note Live. Well, Willem Dafoe is always a plus. I always liked Willem Dafoe. William Toad says, I'm a Democrat, but I'm always willing to hear out what Republicans have to say. Being a citizen of the United States, I think it's extremely important to listen to everyone. Yeah, William Toad, for the most part here, Mr. Yellow Dick Swagger, well, screen name tells you a lot too, is an exception. Typically, people here in our chats have been like that. We'll have, we have heated conversations amongst our regular crew here that's been together for years. But we enjoy those types of things, but it doesn't devolve into like what you're talking about in this case. Everybody's able to state their case, even if they get a little testy or somebody gets a little irritated, they're still able to state their case and do so in a respectful manner. Kaiser says, I just hope we don't end up with this great reset rubbish in response to COVID that the WEF is trying to pass. The YouTube vid actually says you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Fortunately, I don't think we're at, excuse me, at a point right now in America where that's a feasibility. I don't think from a popular standpoint, or certainly as we talked about, as long as guns are in the hands of citizens, you won't see that. Let's see, where does the sheep get his haircut? Bear Donut says the Baba shop. Why does the orange stop? It ran out of juice. Bad puns. Bad puns. I love bad puns. Aiden says, look at my profile pic. Just tell the government that the lake ate all your guns. Is it just, it's the NRA? Okay. I couldn't tell at first because the icons are so small for me, Aiden. I couldn't tell if it was the actual NRA or if it was a spoofed one. That's right. Big Green says we make fun of each other all the time here, but no need to be an asshole about it. Oh, yeah. As Wolfpaw says, guns and ammo sales have skyrocketed in the past 2 years. This year even more so. You can't even get ammo anywhere. Most places are sold out. Our local Walmart still sell hunting rifles and everything. They're constantly sold out. You'll go buy that rack. You'll be in there one day and there'll be maybe half a dozen of them left in there. You go back a few hours later, they're gone. People are just buying up anything they can get their hand on. Chrome says, I think consumer rights have been slowly eroded for decades now. As much as I like streaming platforms, they've definitely done a lot of harm to consumer rights. You can't own any of the films now. Yeah, that's true. True. Right, Jack. Yeah, we may not agree, but always that shit was agree always, but that shit was disrespectful. If he came through with anything disrespectful to anyone other than me, you don't have to. If they're disrespectful to me, I don't give a shit. I'll tell them about it. But if they're disrespectful to others here in our community, absolutely get rid of them. Let's see. Johnny says conservatives and libtards both suck ginormous ass. Fuck you both. Well, I would take it a step further and say extremists on both sides suck ginormous ass. That I would agree with. Wimatode says, I really don't think that a civilian should be able to own an AR-15. Think of how much less deadly these school shootings would be if they didn't have an assault weapon. What's your definition of an assault weapon, Wimatode? And I won't say anything else until you tell me the definition of it, because it sounds like, so you just want to ban the AR-15 class, right? Because I don't think you're going to accomplish what you think you're going to. This conversation always interests me. So just to engage the conversation, what would be, because AR-15, why is that considered an assault weapon? Tell me what it is specifically that classifies it as such. Can we be naked, wholesome bullies? Jack Queen says, they were name calling. Big Green says, yeah, there's no need for that. Mr. Shank says, Biden is trying to make America a socialist country. Well, again, I'm not a Biden fan, but no, Biden isn't. I fear that he gives in too much, or he may give in too much to the socialist fringe of his party, but he himself, no. There's a VTuber called Ina that is famous for bad puns. One of her examples is, what do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. I've always loved terrible puns. The worse, the better. Chrome says, but most of the times they don't use the guns politicians want to ban. Most mass shootings use basic guns, handguns, rifles, and such. True. Well, it's just like what happened, Chrome, after the school shooting in Florida a few years ago. There was the one in Texas.
Yeah.
That was just a few months later. and fell completely off the radar for two reasons. One, the people in Texas in that district were largely still pro-gun, so it didn't fit the narrative. And two, and more importantly, used a shotgun and a handgun, two things that are not on anybody's list to ban. So it just, the media lost interest in that one in a hurry. I was waiting to see from Weematode, because again, I'm willing to have that conversation, but you can't have that conversation unless you're willing to be specific and say, I think assault rifles should be banned, or even explain why an AR-15 would be considered an assault weapon. I'm interested to see what that definition is. Cody Hahn says, my definition may differentiate from Weematode, but I describe an assault weapon that fires more than 5 rounds a second. Cody, are you aware that an unmodified AR, now I'm not a fan of bump stocks, they made them illegal and they should be, but an unmodified AR-15 can fire a shot as many times as you can pull the trigger. There's no automated mechanism to it. You can't just hold that trigger down and fire more than 5 shots a second. So if you can pull the trigger more than 5 times a second, then you could fire off that quickly. So if you're for that and you're saying that makes it fall into that category, what you're saying is you want all semi-automatic weapons banned. You could even make the case that in skilled hands, you could take a pistol, you could take a 6-shooter, and I guess if you were quick enough with the hammer, you could shoot more than 5 times in a second, possibly. It wouldn't be any more difficult than it would be to do it with an AR-15. So, exactly. So you're saying you want to ban guns, basically. Weematode here. He says, let me rephrase that. I mean, we shouldn't have semi-automatic rifles. Technically, handguns and shotguns are assault weapons. I agree it's a touchy subject and I may be misinformed. You don't want semi-automatic rifles? Semi-automatic means one squeeze of the trigger, one shot. So I'm not sure what it is you're looking to ban. That's all semi-auto means. Fully auto has been illegal for ages. I mean, you can conceivably get one in extreme situations, but for the vast majority of us, 99.99% of us, automatic weapons are already illegal. So if you're saying that anything semi-auto should be banned, that is the vast majority of guns that are out there. So you want like revolvers, shotguns, maybe single shot, double barrel, maybe shotguns to be legal and nothing else. I don't agree at all. I think you cross the line into punishing millions and millions of legal gun owners in a world that is very dangerous, and they should be able to have certain protection for themselves, and you want to punish them because some people might do naughty things with that inanimate object. No, I don't agree. Cody says, fair point. I don't want to ban guns per se, but I'm for mental and background checks. Now that's an entirely different topic. Yeah, we could get into that. That's the part that bothers me though, is when people say like that, I want to ban AR-15s. It's like, why? Because they look scary? I mean, there are many different types of rifles that will do the exact same thing, but the ARs are the choice of a lot of people. They're very popular. So many times when there is a school shooting or something, that's the semi-auto that's used. As far as being more careful about who can have a gun, that's a different conversation. Yes, the only place I start to get nervous, I don't like when government gets too involved as far as if you start talking about making a list of people in America who own guns and stuff like that. That bothers me. If you're going to make laws, I have no problem with people with felony convictions not owning guns. I have no problem with people convicted of domestic abuse. Convicted, not accused. Convicted of committing domestic abuse, not having guns, because then basically you're saying that you're the type of person who can't control their anger. Jack Queen says, ban dildos next. Used well, they can be dangerous. Lick says, some dumb teenager shot himself in the foot trying to shoot up McDonald's, and therefore everyone must pay. Yes. Oh, well, that's the thing. And Tyler's right. Just like drugs, if you ban them, people will just get them illegally, and law-abiding citizens can't protect themselves. 100% agree with that, Tyler. Especially now, well over 400 million guns in circulation in America. You could ban anything you want. The guns aren't going away. And you're 100% right. Then the bad people will have them, and the people who choose to abide by the law will be at their mercy. That's absolutely true. Yeah, I'm with you, Philip. He says, I never got why people thought ARs are scary. The damn things look like a toy. Hell, in Vietnam, they called them a Mattel rifle. Yeah, I don't either, pal. Again, it's just got to be something to the look about them looks intimidating because they're no different than semi-auto hunting rifles. Same exact configuration. Same bullet velocity, same one pull of the trigger, one bullet fired. They just look scary, apparently. Women Toad says, I know that means one squeeze, one shot, but in my eyes, we should have guns for home protection and hunting too. I don't really think you need a semi-automatic rifle to protect your home. Well, A, I would disagree with you, but B, so what? Now, you have to remember, if you're protecting your home, you're going to be protecting against someone who is unlawful. So it's a given that the unlawful person doesn't care what they have. So you're saying if you have to protect your home, you should at least start at a disadvantage to the person who doesn't care about the law. Because if you're saying semi-auto is out the window, what are you leaving for people to have? Again, you're talking revolvers, you're talking shotguns, where, okay, so let's say you're talking a single shotgun, or maybe you're talking bolt action rifles or something, one shot per. So if somebody is going to come into your house and they don't care about the laws, so they've got a semi-auto pistol or they've got an AR-15, you're going to sit there up there as they come in with your bolt action going, choo, 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 taking a shot, firing another one up, because somebody might do something bad with that inanimate object. How come in France, when that psycho, what did he get, a truck or a bus? I forgot what he brought to the, was it Nice? I forgot where in France. But he killed 80-something people with a vehicle. That was an inanimate object that was used for nefarious purposes. Why don't we have... what he did was already illegal. I mean, it's against the law to kill people with a bus or a truck. So what do you do about things like that? We were told the Second Amendment was not just meant for home defense. No, not all. And like I say, there might have, you could have made a stronger case for this, I think, as far as in the form of public opinion prior to the last few years. But with what we've seen with riots in the streets and everything now, you're not going to get guns away from people, and you're not going to limit them to things other than semi-automatic weapons when we know full well the bad guys are going to have them. Tyler says handguns are used in crimes most of the time. That's true. So I ban rifles. You can conceal a handgun, not a rifle. That's very true, Tyler. Yeah, it's more often handguns and typically illegally gotten handguns, and that's easier than ever now that you can start freaking 3D printing the guns. Oh, guys, we got really wrapped into a good discussion this day. I gotta go. Thank you guys for the stream very much. Very much. Tomorrow, yeah, Free For All Friday tomorrow. Spaz Kid's coming back home. His birthday's Saturday. He's 21. So he's coming home, but not till the afternoon. So I'll make sure I get later in the afternoon. So I'll make sure I get Free For All Friday going for you guys before he gets here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the Try Not to Laugh videos. I like that new configuration, that new style of doing it. And thank you to those who are already putting together videos for me, with several different Try Not to Laugh moments in them. So thank you guys for all of that. And today's sticky stuff, since we did a lot of talking about guns, today's sticky stuff is going to be distributed semi-auto fashion. one pull of my one pull of my trigger for each sticky stuff that goes out there. I'm not as young as I used to be, so they're not going to get there as quick, but they're going to be high velocity. Here it comes, pamfu pamfu, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, pew 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 pew. It's the first time we've ever sent out sticky stuff with the pew pew sound effect. Pew 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 pew, sticky stuff for everybody. Goes with bang, okay? Flashily like buggy. And as always, most importantly, more important than gun control or anything, is goose 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 goose. Goose. Goose, goose indeed, Gimster.